They say that in Laos, women smile so quietly, as if they are guarding an ancient secret of the mountains. But those who have seen them on the early morning streets of Vientiane know, this silence is deceptive. Behind it lies a country where time moves more slowly than the heart of a traveler who has just stepped onto Lao soil. Laos is a quiet, landlocked country, squeezed between Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, China, and Vietnam. On the map it looks small, but its vastness surprises. More than 236,000 square kilometers of forests, mountains, and valleys, home to about 7.5 million people. It is one of the few nations in Southeast Asia that has preserved a true sense of the past, without bizarre megacities, without glass skyscrapers, without intrusive commercial chaos. Laos is called the heart of Indochina, and not only because of geography. This is where you can still feel the rhythm of ancient kingdoms and the deep spirituality that shaped the region for centuries. They say that in Laos, the roads live their own lives, slow, uneven, and nothing like the rhythm of neighboring megacities. And that is true. There is no typical Asian chaos here, but neither is there European order. Traffic in the cities, especially in Vientiane and Luang Prabang, flows unhurriedly, as if echoing the character of the country itself. The main transportation is motorcycles and small scooters. They are everywhere, at morning markets, in narrow alleys, near temples, next to coffee stalls. Drivers don't rush. No one honks without reason. No one pushes forward aggressively. It's as if everyone has accepted one simple rule. The road is not for speeding. It is for moving. Traffic jams happen only during rush hours, and mostly in the capital. But even then, the traffic doesn't resemble the roaring waves of Bangkok or Hanoi. It feels more like a slow, quiet stream that you can go through without losing patience. Walking is absolutely possible, and many people do exactly that. Streets are compact, sidewalks are sometimes uneven, but the atmosphere is so calm that even a nighttime walk feels safe. Bicycles are a separate story. Lao people love them for their simplicity and independence. In Luang Prabang, for example, almost all tourists ride bicycles, from morning monk ceremonies to evening markets. And, strangely enough, it truly works. The country's slow rhythm allows you to move without stress, and drivers respect each other on the road. Outside the cities, everything changes. There is no place for haste there. Mountain serpentine roads, dirt sections, paths leading to remote villages. Traveling becomes not a challenge, but an adventure. Trips between cities take longer than they seem on the map, but it's during these rides that true Laos unfolds. Rice terrace landscapes, misty valleys, rivers shining between mountains. Here, transportation is not just a way to get around. It is a way to feel the country, slowly, softly, without rushing, as if the road itself whispers, "Don't hurry. Laos must be lived, not flown through." They say Lao women smile with their eyes, not their lips. And it's true. In their gaze there is something soft, calm, almost fluid, like the Mekong's flow at sunset. They are mostly petite, with delicate facial features, dark, thick hair, and a natural grace that comes not from posing, but from the smoothness of every movement. You won't find bright makeup or flamboyant fashion here. The beauty of Laos is quiet, like the country itself, but it is exactly this quietness that captures the eye. In their manners, there is something ancient. They speak softly, never raise their voices, behave modestly, holding themselves with an inner dignity shaped by Buddhist culture. At the same time, they are hardworking and strong. In the morning, you can see them selling food at markets. During the day, they work in shops or offices, and in the evening, they return home, where another set of responsibilities awaits: family, household, children. The social role of Lao women is broader and heavier than it may seem. Although they make up about half of the country's workforce, there are still few women in politics, business, and leadership roles. In parliament, the share of women grows slowly but steadily, a little over 27%. Yet even there, they face traditions that press harder than any law. Despite their gentle behavior, Their lives are not always easy. In rural areas, girls often start working from childhood, helping in the fields, taking care of younger siblings, managing the household. Marriage and motherhood are expected steps, and society sometimes treats them as obligations, not choices. But it is in these women that the strength of Laos lies. They hold their families together, preserve daily life, and pass down traditions. The contrast between their beauty and the realities of life is almost tangible. They appear calm, tender, even fragile, yet on their shoulders rests a country where modernity moves slower than the world around it. Lao women are like mountain rice terraces, beautiful, balanced, but created through hard work and unbreakable resilience. In this combination lies their true beauty, deep, quiet, and anything but superficial. They say Laos is a country where time gets tired of running. And indeed, the rhythm of life here is so slow and smooth that sometimes it feels as if the world intentionally lowers its volume the moment you cross its border. In Laos, you won't find frantic morning traffic jams, endless honking, or the pressure of giant cities. People live as if each day is a deep, deliberate breath. In Vientiane, life flows lightly, almost lazily. The morning begins with the smell of coffee, street food, and the ringing of bicycle bells. Locals don't rush to work with a phone in hand. They walk calmly, sometimes stopping to chat, buy rice, or simply greet a neighbor. By evening, the city becomes even quieter. The Mekong spreads its warm glow. People sit along the riverside, children play, and adults stroll slowly, without a hint of hurry. Luang Prabang is completely different. It lives through rituals, the silence of temples, and slow boats drifting along the river. This lifestyle appeals to those who want to escape the noise. Artists, writers, freelancers, and anyone who needs inner space. Thousands come here seeking exactly this, a silence that doesn't frighten but heals. The rural regions of Laos move even slower. There, the day begins with the sunrise and ends before the stars appear. Locals work in the fields, tend livestock, repair their homes. Stress, as a concept, almost doesn't exist. There is only daily routine and a deep calm that fills the air. The pace of life in Laos isn't for everyone. For those used to energetic cities, it may feel too quiet. But families, retirees, students, freelancers, and anyone trying to escape the endless race for success experience a strange, almost physical relief here. This is a country where you are allowed not to hurry, where days feel longer and thoughts clearer, where time turns toward a person, not away from them. In Laos, life is not rushed, it is savored. They say Laos doesn't remember its past, it breathes it. And all it takes is a walk through the early morning streets of Luang Prabang to feel it. Here, history isn't stored in museums. It lives in every stone, in every temple bell, in every shadow cast by bamboo walls. Laos is a land of ancient kingdoms, temples, and mountain peoples. Its most famous cultural center is Luang Prabang, a UNESCO World Heritage City. It looks as if the world forgot it on the pages of an old manuscript. Golden stupas, soft outlines of pagodas, wooden monasteries where monks rise before dawn. Hundreds of orange robes moving through the morning almsgiving ritual. This is not a performance for tourists, but a daily ceremony that has continued for centuries. In Vientiane, the main symbol is Pa Tat Luang, a massive golden stupa that seems to glow from within. It is considered the most sacred site in the country, surrounded by temples and museums that preserve the history of Lao Buddhism and the royal dynasties. Another symbol is Patuksai, an arch reminiscent of a small triumphal arch of Paris, but with a Lao soul, decorated with Naga motifs and traditional patterns. Lao culture is layered like soil after rain. It is formed by the traditions of numerous ethnic groups, Hmong, Khmu, Lao, each contributing something of their own to the patterns, songs, and way of life. Festivals here are deeply emotional. Loi Krathong, when floating lanterns drift across the water. Pi Mai, the Lao New Year with water rituals. Bun Vat Pu, the celebration by the ancient temple complex dating back to Khmer times. What makes Laos unique is its sincerity. What in other countries has become a tourist show remains here genuine, unembellished life. Music isn't played for cameras, but for the heart. Dances aren't performed, they are lived. Temples aren't opened to visitors, they simply follow their own rhythm. Laos is one of those countries where culture does not try to impress you. It simply exists. Quiet, deep, effortless. And that makes it unforgettable. They say Lao people speak little, but feel much. And indeed, the social atmosphere here is so soft that sometimes it seems the country is built not on laws, but on kindness. Laos has neither the sharp temper of some regional neighbors, nor aggression or loud competitiveness. People live by a simple principle. Keep peace within yourself, and the world will respond in kind. Lao people smile often, but quietly. It's not a wide Western smile, but a gentle gesture that says, "I see you, I respect you." That is why newcomers feel surprisingly comfortable. Even if you don't know the language, most locals will try to help, with gestures, a look, or a few English words. They never intrude, but they create a sense of calm presence. The most fascinating aspect is the contrast between cities and villages. In Vientiane, people are more open to foreigners, more comfortable with tourists and business. In Luang Prabang, the atmosphere is even warmer. Every acquaintance can become a friend, and every shop owner remembers your drink, like last time. In the villages, there is a different kind of sincerity. People are curious about who you are and where you come from, but they are never intrusive. They simply invite you to sit, share fruit or tea, and make you feel like a guest, not a stranger. The ease of integration surprises many. Here, you don't need to be loud or special to find friends. It is enough to respect local values, modesty, quietness, attentiveness to elders. And Lao people respond with the same warmth. They love community. Evening walks by the riverbank, market encounters, temple festivals where people laugh, help one another, and share food. Lao is not for those who seek wild energy, but it is perfect for those who long for warmth, genuine humanity, and the feeling of belonging to something calm and harmonious. Here, no one judges you by your clothes, money, or status. In Lao, people don't scan you with their eyes. They simply accept you. And perhaps that is why even a short stay leaves the impression that you lived in a real community, where the heart matters more than words. They say that education in Laos is a journey that always begins with hope, but not always with a smooth road. And indeed, the system develops slowly here, just like many other aspects of the country. Yet despite this, it remains an important part of Lao family life, especially in urban centers. Higher education can be obtained in several key institutions. The largest is the National University of Laos in Vientiane. Its faculties cover economics, engineering, medicine, pedagogy, and the humanities. There are also agricultural institutes, a polytechnic college, and universities that collaborate with Thailand, Vietnam, and China. Young people seeking broader opportunities often study abroad, in Bangkok, Hanoi, or even in Europe through scholarship programs. Schools in Laos are a world of their own. In the cities, they are fairly organized. Children wear neat uniforms and study mathematics, Lao language, English, and natural sciences every day. But in rural areas, education depends heavily on community resources. Sometimes teachers manage several classes at once, and children must walk kilometers to reach school. And yet they go, because for many, education is a chance for a different life. Healthcare in Laos is like a mountain road, essential, but not always even. The distance between cities and villages is felt here especially strongly. In Vientiane, public hospitals, private clinics, and diagnostic centers provide basic and medium-complexity medical services. There are also modern private hospitals working with foreign specialists. But in the provinces, the situation is different. Clinics have minimal equipment, and serious cases are almost always transported to the capital or across the border to Thailand. Traditional medicine plays an important role for locals. Herbs, massages, tinctures, and healing steam baths. These often blend with modern treatments, creating a hybrid medical approach passed down from generation to generation. Laos is still catching up with its neighbors in education and healthcare, but people here believe in change. And every new classroom, every new clinic is a step forward, small but steady. Development here does not come quickly, but moves like the Mekong, slowly yet relentlessly. They say the economy of Laos moves slowly but stubbornly, like a boat on the Mekong that never stops, neither day nor night. And indeed, its development is not rapid, but consistent. Laos is one of the poorest countries in Southeast Asia, yet in recent years it has gradually opened to the world, attracting investment and building the foundation of its own economy. Natural resources remain the backbone of the economy. Hydropower is the country's main engine. Dozens of dams on the Mekong and its tributaries supply electricity not only to Laos, but to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. It's no surprise Laos has been called the battery of Asia. However, this model depends heavily on foreign capital and comes with environmental challenges that have yet to be resolved. Agriculture is the second pillar. Rice fields, coffee from Paksong, bananas, corn, rubber. All of this provides employment for a large portion of the population. In rural areas, everyone works: men, women, children. Here, agriculture is not a profession, but a way of life. Yet incomes are low and opportunities limited. Tourism is the fastest growing sector. Luang Prabang, Quang Si waterfalls, the Plain of Jars, river cruises along the Mekong. All of these attract travelers from Europe and Asia. Tourism creates jobs in hotels, restaurants, tours, and markets. But seasonality and dependence on global crises make the industry unstable. Industry in Laos is only beginning to emerge. There are factories producing textiles, clothing, food products, and small assembly plants. Chinese, Thai, and Vietnamese companies are opening branches here because labor is inexpensive and regulations more flexible. However, working conditions are not always ideal. Low wages, long shifts, minimal protections. The labor market looks different depending on the region. In Vientiane, there are openings in education, sales, logistics, hospitality, and small-scale IT projects. English opens many doors, especially in international companies and travel agencies. In the provinces, however, job options are far fewer, and many young people move to cities or abroad, to Thailand or South Korea. The economy of Laos is not about speed, but endurance. There are no major leaps, but there is a steady desire to move forward. People work hard, without showmanship, without the chase for prestige. And although wages are modest and opportunities limited, the country continues its path, just like the river, slowly, but always in the same direction.